Hey, you're about to see a clip from about a 2-hour discussion that Andrew Cake, Emily Albrecht, and I had about the Dobbs oral arguments that we recently heard at the Supreme Court. So this is a clip from that, but if you want to watch the entire discussion and Q&A, that link will be in the description. Thanks so much.
If you were listening to the oral arguments, you may have noticed that the first couple of questions by the liberal justices or the pro-choice justices on the court seemed to be more like speeches than questions. And those speeches were addressed to one person. That person is Chief Justice John Roberts. Roberts is maybe most known for being kind of an institutionalist, which is to say he wants to preserve the legitimacy of the court as an institution. He wants it to be perceived as above the fray, as a neutral, reliable arbiter. And so he makes sometimes very questionable decisions in order to preserve that. One notable example, he, I believe, wrote a lot of the what ended up being the minority opinion in the Sebelius case on Obamacare before flipping over to uphold Obamacare. And concerns about the legitimacy of the courts, the court staying above the political fray, were part of that. Also, interestingly, in the duology of the Hellerstedt case and June Medical Services on a much smaller abortion regulation than is at issue here, he voted against the abortion regulation, or to uphold the abortion regulation, in the minority in the first case. In the second case, he voted to strike down the abortion regulation because it was a precedent because of the previous case. And so he is a very frustrating person at some level because he's got this kind of pragmatism. And so the other justices are appealing to that and saying, look, if we overturn this, that's 50 years of precedent that we are throwing away. There is going to be chaos. There will be issues. There are going to be new cases, even if you try to find a middle ground. If you throw away this right, it's going to make us look like we're just a political body. And by the way, we have 3 new members, and they were all appointed by Trump. And that was legitimately an argument that Justice Sotomayor made, which veered towards disenfranchising those 3 justices, by the way. That, if they vote a certain way and Roe is stricken down, then it's a political decision automatically. But if they vote the right way, or we get the right decision, then it's an acceptable decision that upholds the legitimacy of the court. And so they're arguing, and again, Justice Sotomayor used the word stench, that if they overturned Roe, that it would leave a stench about the court. The pro-life view is a stench, apparently. And so there's this idea that the court has to be above the fray, that is an important enough thing, essentially, that if they undercut their own legitimacy, then future decisions would be hampered, even if it would call into question, whether they made the right decision in this case. So even if one could say Roe was wrongly decided, even if they should overturn Roe on the merits, maybe it would undercut the legitimacy of the court to overturn Roe, and therefore we should leave it alone because it's a super precedent and because it's a politically contested issue.
Once again, that was a clip from about a 2-hour discussion that we had live about the Supreme Court oral arguments in the Dobbs case. If you want to watch the entire discussion, that link is in the description. And subscribe to this channel if you want more pro-life training material like this.